Then I began to give some talks in schools, and schools began to refer to me. Children who were in classes and are disturbing others and disturb themselves. So I am from St. Thomas's College, so my first talk was there. And then when we did a survey, we found each grade has 5 classes, each class has 35 students. Of that, 7 were disturbed. So our school has an ancillary teacher in every class, that is the proper teacher is teaching. Ancillary teacher moves towards the child who's disturbed and say, darling, then me pota balamuwa. Get what I mean? So there are 2 teachers in one class. Then they can manage 5 more. But 2 are that disturbed that they can't remain in the class, so our school has a special student unit. They take a time out. So after about 2 periods or so, they may be able to come back, or they stay there and go home. In this special student unit, of course, you don't do proper studies, you just do something. So that is about, out of 35, 7 are disturbing 20%. Now our school does not use the digital screen, doesn't use tablets. So in international schools that use the digital screen from very young days, the percentage of disturbance is much more. These were things that I observed. Then when I began to conceptualize with pharmacology, this is what I found. So these are the classic symptoms of ADHD: inattention, impulsivity, hyperactivity. Inattention is that their attention span is shorter and shallower. So they are studying, they can't study in one place, they are disturbed. Also, they are not absorbing the depth of what they are studying. How many of you have children under the age of 12? So fair percentage, isn't it? Over 12? Children over 12? Less. Unmarried? Yeah. Now you know the FB story. පුතාට හොඳටම පුරවපු පෙට්‍රල් බෝතල් 5ක් තිබෙනවා, රුමක් දුවක් අවශ්‍යව තිබේ. Have you seen that? That is the present crisis. So, while I was seeing children and filling in my questionnaire, mother's digital life, first trimester, second trimester, third trimester, it's academically designed questionnaire, I began to theorize how it can be helped. So we do relearn, retrain, remanage from even 3 years old. Now very quickly an example. How do you develop attention span at 3 years for a 3-year-old child? First principle, you will ruin the attention span with giving any kind of screen. So what is any kind of screen? Uday Pandra Hayata, Lamaya Danama, TV screen. You know, putting the child in front of the TV screen. Initially I thought this is a problem these rich people with smartphones create for their children. බලංගයනකොට හැම ගමේ ගෙදරත් TV screen එක තියෙනවා නම් ඒක ඉස්සරහා තමයි ළමයා ඉන්නේ. The child is put in front of them. Now the American Pediatric Association categorically says, don't give the screen in any form before the age of 2.5. Did you know that? 2.5. Don't give the screen at all. Not for education, not for songs, nothing. Before the age of 2.5. Of course, what I mean by nothing is on and off seeing something is one thing, but as a daily habit, don't give the screen. Did you understand that? I'll come to this systematically. So what do? We do relearn, retrain, remanage. For a 3-year-old child, attention span should be at least 15%. Because at year 5, when he is 5 years old, year 1, child is expected to sit and wait for 30 minutes in a class, isn't it? Agree? Now how can a child sit 30 minutes in a class unless you train the child's attention span at home? So when the child is 3 years, child gets up, let's say daughter, and daughter goes to school. She thinks she's going to school. And then the Monica also goes to school. So the child is seated on this side of the desk. Always by 3, child must have a desk of her own. On the other side is another chair. She is seated here and teaching Bonica. She is the teacher. She teaches Bonica whatever she can, and then interval comes, and then bell and The Bodhika goes home and Bodhika is given milk to drink and Bodhika is washed and Bodhika is put to sleep. That's a 15-minute attention span. Understood? You know what I mean? You have to get the child to do executive, empathic, creative pathway of the prefrontal cortex of the child must be stimulated. Creative things to do. If not, if you give the screen, child gets into repetitive tick-tock-tock behavior. Screen is smart, child becomes stupid. Convinced? So I'll give you now more technical details. Digital simulant effect has 5 components. Time length, exposure to the LED screen, more than 25 minutes. Pixels per inch of the smartphone. Now a modern smartphone is about 550-600 ppi. What is the retinal density of rods and cones? 247. You remember the about 4-5 years ago, it was told that the smartphone has now become retinal. Heard or not? That is, it came to 247, then it exceeded. Now when the child is looking at a smartphone for whatever reason, the child's retina is on strain, where retina can package only 247. Modern smartphones are twice or even more than that. Am I too fast or you can observe? Same with iPad and same with tab. Now laptop and desktop is backlit. That is to say, the pixel is behind, LED screen is in front. Did you understand that? The LCD screen is in front. So the effect on the retina and the brain neurons by the laptop and desktop is less than smartphone, tab and iPad. So if your child is studying with in an international school or has to browse the internet, principle is never do it on the smartphone. Understood? Even you, do your hard work on the laptop and the desktop. Because the desktop and the laptop has a LCD screen in front. Okay? Never read with LED light. LED light has higher blue frequency. So your home reading light should not be LED. You will save the electricity bill and ruin your retina. You are familiar with this subject or not? That you should not read with LED lights, you have not heard before. You must not read with LED lights. So for home now, this is a tube light in the window. Yeah. So read with CFL daylight. Don't read with LED lights. LED light, just like smartphone and tablet and iPad, that emits a higher frequency of blue light. When you are working with blue light, your macula is overworking. And then quite a few young fellows who are on all the time on the computer, who are computer professionals, they get macular degeneration of the young. Now usually it was macular degeneration of the aged. You remember that after the age of 65. Now you get macular degeneration of the young because when you work with blue light, වැඩියෙන් වැඩ කරන්නේ කහලපේ. You remember the කහලපේ is the macula. Macula has only cones. So macula must work only when you are reading fine print or looking at maps. You must save your macula for that. If you use blue light as LED above your head or the screen, smartphone, iPad or tablet for a lot of reading, your macula is overworking. Will you give me a wave if you understood that? Yeah. So don't use it for too much reading the blue light. Okay? So that's about pixels range. Rate of pixel change in a cartoon frame. So when the child is looking at cartoons that have very violent color changes, magenta, orange, black, it's changing all the time. The digital games, it's worse. So more pixels are used on the screen for a cartoon frame, more the retina is affected, more the neurons are affected. Okay? Got that also. Intensity and variability of sound and color. Time of exposure effect is more after 6 p.m. and melatonin begins to secrete the sleep hormone after 6 p.m. So melatonin works on the brain to store memory, produce physiological sleep, which means by about 12:30 in the night, you have REM sleep and NREM sleep alternately, correct? That's how you wake up in the morning, refresh, memory stored, all that. That's the effect of melatonin. If we use the LED screen, LED lights, or digital screen doing computer games and whatnot, you inhibit melatonin secretion. Then the brain has a glymphatic system, GLYMPHATIC. That is, the glial cells move all over the brain during sleep, removing excess serotonin through the day when the brain works. Neurochemicals begin to accumulate at the receptors. Okay? All that has to be removed during sleep. That's why you must have proper physiological sleep, which is NREM and REM alternating in 3 to 4 cycles. So your best sleep is 12:30 to 4 o'clock. You must not disturb that sleep every day. I mean, night shift one day, that's a different thing. Got it? I'm not too fast, am I? You can manage it. So that is about why time of exposure. After 6 p.m., try to persuade your child not to look at cartoons and digital games. In my public lectures, I always say, ගෙදර ප්‍රශ්නේ මේකයි. අවුරුදු 40ක පිරිමි ළමෙක් ඉන්නවා, එයා කාටුන් නැපැයි වෙච්ච. එයාගේ නම මොකද්ද? Everybody laughs and says තාත්තා. To drive the point home, unless the තාත්තා rehabilitates himself, you can't put the fellow right, isn't it? Boy right. So I don't see a child unless තාත්තා comes with mother. Always තාත්තා will say all kinds of things. So I have Tata is DAD, dad. So I have coined dad's D's, deny and dodge. DAD is deny and dodge. I don't know about the tatas here, because it's as if it's the mother's problem, isn't it? If the child goes wrong, it's the mother's problem. If the school says child is disturbed in something, it's the mother who has to go. Correct? Yeah. So when I, these are some of my tactics for the public lecture. When I keep saying that, they understand that home has to change, digital consumption has to be reduced. So Tata has to, I always say, spend your night bedtime reading a good story, intelligent story to your son and daughter. Because Tata has to engage the child for the next stretch. Mother makes it safe every day. Got the concept? So I have written about this extensively. I hope you buy my 4 books now. Mom and Dad, what you must be talking to your son and daughter. So father does the next stretch, the challenge. Mother makes it safe every day. Now have you seen a mother taking the baby and throwing the baby up? Never. Who does it? DAD. Now that is necessary, because the child feels Tati Avama, Tati gives a little, isn't it? Tati gives a little, something mother doesn't give, and then as time goes on, now what I am doing is I am combining the technical lecture I do for doctors with the public lecture I do for the public. You understand that? So that in the short time we have tried to give you a picture of what you can tell parents in their digital practice, so understand the topic at least and what you can do at home. So giving the next stretch, you don't have to take a fantastic holiday to Singapore, Santosha Island and take them through those, what are those terrible things that you go up and down? Roller coasters, yeah. You don't have to do that. I have no problem if you can do that, but now say little fellow is just turning 3 or 4, 5. Now he's doing his tricycle, remove the rear extra tires, and he tries to fall down and he hangs on your neck. One thing. Or you take him on an adult bicycle down the Pallang, he hangs on your neck. You get what I mean? Or take him to the beach, and when the rallies, the waves are coming, you are taking him a little in and take him out and dip, and he hangs on your neck. So what's the lesson you are communicating to the son, especially? The next thrill, ask dad. Who knows about thrills? Dad knows about thrills. So he's in he's 13 years old, and one fellow brings crystal meth or the strawberry thing that's going around and says, try this machang, make a marai and make a kawut hemara and nagilla padam karanna puluwan kind of thing. He will say, thrilling things, who introduces to me? Dad. I must go and ask Dad, did you understand what I'm saying? So this is an important subject for pediatricians also and GPs and obstetricians. So I'm working with College of Obstetricians, my schoolmate is the president of it. So I am suggesting to him, have some flyer that can be given to every mother at birth with some digital instructions. Don't put the child before the screen till the age of 2.5. Few things like that. So we have recommended to the president to remove the digital screen from play school, preschool. Now you can't remove cartoons from the TV. Now people ask me in public lectures, why can't the government ban cartoons? You can't do things like that. But you can say, play school, preschool must not have the digital screen. Agree? But play school, preschool should be registered only if they have at least 2 purchase of land. So swings, grips, ropes, tires, you get what I mean. So basic principle is that more you use your pyramidal track and the glutamate, pyramidal track works on glutamate, you reverse the dopaminergic addiction that screen produces. Okay, I'll come to that. So time of exposure after 6 p.m. will ruin your melatonin. Multitasking, even at our age, keep your working span for 45 minutes. In between, don't do Instagram, Snapchat. I don't think you people look pretty old-fashioned. I don't think you do anything more than Facebook. I think some of you are not even on Facebook. Yeah. Keep your attention span. Say you're studying, working, cooking, wife is cooking, husband is eating. Keep it for 45 minutes, okay? You keep your work 45 minutes stretch, you won't get Alzheimer's. Secondly, if you work in 2 languages, read, write in 2 languages, keep your writing habit lifelong. Give me a way if you understood that. In 2 languages, you don't get Alzheimer's. They research. That's not difficult, isn't it? Keep your attention span, do one thing at a time for 45 minutes. Cricket or reading or whatever. And use 2 languages after writing. Write 2 languages, at least 4 A4 sheets. You can write a love letter to your wife, indictment charge sheet to your mother-in-law, whatever. But write.
2 languages.
2 languages. So you can choose English and Sinhala or English and Tamil or Sinhala and Tamil. Most can't write in Tamil, isn't it? You can only speak in Tamil. So 2 languages, A4 sheets. Make it a habit of writing, whatever, Kitikatawak, Padya, Pelak, something write, it doesn't matter. But keep writing. Always keep writing. Okay.
These days we only type.
You have to handwrite. Handwriting, I think, is God's gift, is what makes humans brilliant, isn't it? So even small children, we must get them to handwrite. So in small days, more friction is involved in handwriting, better it is for brain tract development. Ekane pastel and cartridge paper, you remember. Rougher the surface, better for the brain. Okay? Same with matty molding. If you mold actual matty clay, which bookshops have, it's better than plasticine. Other clay, plasticine is too soft. So these are some things we use for getting children back out of digital addiction, proper handwriting, and we do a lot of things. So every Friday now I see parents and teachers, father must come. And our staff is trained to do 90 minutes of different activities, which includes magic molding, handicraft, Montessori methods, plus an empathic motor therapy center. So I have to be in the police training school at 1:30. So we have a little time. Let me try to see to do my best. So sleep deprivation, digital stimulant causes sleep deprivation. So the slogan is preserve screen time for essential study. Anyone has a child in international school? Anyone has a child in international school? Yeah. Now they use the screen early, isn't it? So the principle is use the screen only for study, not for entertainment. And laptop is better than iPad, tablet. Don't study on iPad, tablet, smartphone. So we have to have a Jatiki Vyapare to persuade the education minister not to give tablets. Counterproductive, counterproductive. So the foolish thing the West has done, we can learn from their follies, surely. Yeah. So next one. What are good cartoons? We have a slogan, good cartoons are the cartoons that children don't see. So that's a slogan, you understand the slogan. So what do? We have to negotiate with parents to reduce the cartoon time. Only 30 minutes a day. If you exceed 30 minutes, what happens is, cartoons at the digital screen, pixel screen stimulate beyond D1, D2. I'll come to that chart. Dopamine 1 is usual extrapyramidal action when the pyramidal tract is working. Now, when I'm moving our hands, extrapyramidal is working. Extrapyramidal works on D1. So, in brain science and thought processes, when the prefrontal cortex is working for executive, creative, new empathic action, dopamine thinks salience, 45 minutes. Salience is focus. So English you say, get to the salient point. That means get to the point. That's how dopamine does, focus. Then it comes down, then serotonin takes over. So when we are reading, even a child, after 40 minutes, you feel like sitting back and self-check. Agreed? That is serotonin, which is the satiety neurochemical transmitter. Satiety, that is satisfaction. Salience, satisfaction. And you begin your next hour. Okay? When the child is on the digital screen, or for that matter, any one of us, doing digital games, or violent cartoons. Violent meaning color violent, sound violent, or the content is violent. Did you understand violence? Colors are very drastic, sound is unpredictable, or the content is very violent. When a child is on a cartoon like that, the dopamine doesn't come down. Secondly, beyond D1 stimulation goes to D2. D2 is sustained action. Now I'm sort of demonstrating, not that the brain does shh, but the child behaves like that. Now do you understand digitalized behavior? D1 goes to D2. So somehow you must persuade the fellow, don't put stop after 25 minutes, that's better. Then again, if you are browsing the laptop for your studies slowly, it doesn't involve so much stimulation. Obvious, isn't it? You're reading an article. So reading an article also, don't be surfing the net quickly. It becomes like a cartoon then, or digital game. Understood that? So go through an article quietly, slowly. Also, your best articles, get it in hard print. You remember hard print in reflected light. Did you understand that? Now, I believe that's how God has designed our head, to read in reflected light. And then you remember. The digital screen produces photons directly. I told you laptop and desktop are backlit. That is, the photon streams are behind the LCD. So in a laptop you see LCD first, which is better than the smartphone. In the smartphone, which is an AMOLED screen, smartphone, tablet, iPad, you get the photons coming directly at your eye. Okay? So every other day, because anything you do daily, you get addicted. Now if this petrol hinge goes on for too long, even after petrol comes, people will queue up. They'll say, after polling then, after Sumana, this is polling me, addict to. No, that won't happen. But cartoons, you must say, no darling, not every day. Can you implement this at home? Not every day. So now we have a lot of public awareness, simple pamphlets that are kept. We can give you each, maybe 5 each in your practice to give away. We are not an NGO, no? we are individuals. So when I sell my books, we get enough money for the free pamphlets we give for seminars. Did you understand that? So our printing a book costs about 40 rupees. So if we print 1,000, that margin we have, we can give the pamphlets free that we use for seminars. But you have to make a decision whether this is a cost worthwhile getting involved, meaning print a few pamphlets for yourself to give at your practice. And make this part of your practice to tell the mom, tell the mom, please don't put the child on the screen till the age of 2.5 years. Speech scrambles, that's the problem. Speech is absorbed by child hearing mom, child hearing siblings. And best speech training time is eating time. Most brain brilliant time is feeding time. Why? Touch, mastication. So 40% of our neurons in the sensory cortex and motor cortex are involved with fingers, face, mouth, larynx. So more the child uses that during feeding, the more brain brilliant the child becomes. You put the idiot screen up to the child while feeding, and he's looking at that, and someone is putting concrete in his mouth. It's a balaparada. I call it a balaparada. What is the other one I call it? Lama apachara. It's very sad, you know. That's the time mother must bond with the child. Okay, you're a working mother, try it in the morning. Or at least weekend and nights. You get the point. That your child's feeding time and sleeping time is your most precious time. Please don't sacrifice it for anything, would be my plea. Now my daughter is a medical academic. She is a senior lecturer at Jawaharlal University in family medicine. My son-in-law is a doctor at, he's now in the vascular unit, NHSL. They have 2 little children, 9-year-old grandson, 6-year-old granddaughter. We never give them cartoons. Our home has 2 iPads, 2 tablets, 4 smartphones. Never. They are not given to use it as they want. And our home does not, their home and our home, we don't have a TV screen. And those children are brilliant, you know. Why? They were not given the screen. They work with their fingers, drew things, very good artists, different things. They do imaginative play. They are all the time, the 2 of them are into, you know, they are doing Fireman Sam or something. They imagine, that's how brain becomes brilliant, isn't it? Okay? So this is about cartoon. Never the same cartoon, change it. Otherwise children become brand loyal. Whom should children be brand loyal to? Parents only. Parents only. If you make children brand loyal to outside, alien, lifelong, they will not listen to you. They will listen to outsiders. Who introduced this folly? Parents. These things steal their heart. Cartoons are very rude, very nasty, always cynical about seniors, correct? Why are you giving them to the children? Isn't it? So somehow we have to make doctors aware of the technical side as well as the social side. So you make it part of your practice to tell them. And if any one of you would write to me or drop an email, we would certainly get at least 50 pamphlets to you. So that in your practice, you say, make a poddak kiyavala therun ganna cartoon honda naha. That's how we have designed. So that we have introduced our offices in Borella, so we send these to quite a few GPs around, and they were very happy with it. So we are hoping some organization will do up a nice poster with my batchmates, I had some of my batchmates are GPs. So we did a poster and sent to them. I know them personally. I mean, poster is not that costly. For about 50 rupees, you can do a poster. So I'm now doing this systematically for clinical societies. Last month I did for Pandura, today here, tomorrow I'm in Ragama. So I want to suggest to them and say, if you want it, we can get it to your practice, and we'll have to find some, I don't know who will do it, someone, or we have to do a little, and each GP buys a poster so that the people are seated in the practice. They see some basic instructions like this in Sinhala and Tamil, of course, or in English for that matter. Never brand loyalty, so don't purchase other items. Benton stickers, Benton bottle, you get the principle. Don't make them brand loyal to one thing. No violent or spooky programs. Lot of cartoons are magic. So children believe in magic, and some are spooky. Now, how do I learn this? I don't watch cartoons now, but from the parents who come. So one parent, child is at Royal. Reno was his name. Very addicted. He has two sisters at Bishop's College. Mother is Catholic, father is Muslim. And he, little fellow, they can't charge the smartphone during daytime. He'll grab it. So in the night, they charge the smartphone. 4 of them have smartphone. What do they find? 2 o'clock in the night, this fellow is up looking for the smartphone. And he's playing with it. But in 4, let's say 8 weeks, with what we did, he came out of the addiction. He's only 8 years. And the teacher said, got the boy in front of the class and said, see now, Reno has got 90% for mathematics, completely recovered. But no recovery is possible if you give me that Friday. No recovery is possible without reducing the screen time. I will come to the chemical things quickly. So you understood that, isn't it? So here is the attention span, salience with dopamine, satiety self-assess for 15 minutes. Now, I told you, dopamine does a U-curve and serotonin does a U-curve. What does serotonin do? Gives the child a chance, mama padam kara, ekai chalo hondata padam karene, ayat karanna ona, that section I remember, this section I don't remember. That's what self-check serotonin time means. When the child gets digitalized, that's broken. Child has no self-check. Got the point? His default mode network of thought, DMN, never takes him inside. He doesn't consider his ways. He's all the time on the screen, aggressive behavior. Understood? You must cultivate the child's DMN, even we must. DMN is default mode network of thought. Is this good? Is this right? Did you understand? Terrible thing about cartoons and digital games, I think, is young people, little fellows and young fellows, and when they are passing 13, brains tracks are all re-edited. 50% of them go off. So if he's into repetitive behavior, his capacity for new executive creative thinking has drastically reduced. Parents may be doctors, but you are producing a dud. The screen is making him a stupid. Screen is smart, boys become stupid. Yeah. So that's about this satiety and self-check, how important it is for children not to be invaded by the cartoon agitation and stimulation, not only the contents. What it neurochemically does, removes the valuable serotonin check time. Understood that? Okay. Salience and satiety. Same thing, I have given it in detail. Now, most of this is available in your handout called the drug abuse handout. Now, this is our primary doc for public lectures. This is okay for teachers and parents. This is not enough for you, but you have to go through this systematically. I didn't go through this systematically because you are a professional group. I wanted to make you part of the solution, give you technical details enough to engage it in your practice. Okay? That's my intention with doctors. And our time is short. because your clinical society, though you say 11:30, we can say 12:50. So that's okay now. We'll do what we can for that time. Then I have a proper journal article. This is now on the College of GP's website. But it's available today. I'll give you this so that you can go through carefully all the pharmacological conceptualization. So this is found in one of the docs, and you must kindly buy at least one book, the parenting one. No, why don't you buy all 4 books? I mean, you're rich doctors, aren't you? No. No, it's only 100 rupees. I mean, a book is 100 rupees. If you buy a book, we have a margin of 50 rupees to give this free, that's all. We don't earn from it, this is not my earning method. Now I'm like a medical consultant to my cousin's company. So this is not my earning method. This is just to reproduce literature, that's how I introduce. Neurotoxicity is when neurons give up preferred mode, unidirectional firing, and turn to non-preferred multidirectional firing when kid is on the screen with continuous pixel bombardment. Let me explain. Each neuron gets used to getting stimulated from one direction, though it has many dendrites. Can you picture the neuron? That is called preferred mode unidirectional firing. That's homeostasis. That's the physiological state. You remember homeostasis? Now this is the homeostasis that you will learn in MBBS physiology. They are relevant for pharmacology. I'll repeat. Each neuron responds to one stimulus, to optic or kinesthetic or acoustic. Got it? Okay. When the digital screen has influenced you or the child over a period of time, what happens is one neuron begins to respond to, brain tracks are not fixed, they are functional. So one neuron can try to respond to kinesthesia, acoustic and visual. That's the problem of ADHD. So ADHD children have whatever has gone wrong with them in the mother's womb or after, when they see color, they hear sound. When they see a movement, they see color. How does this happen? So what is preferred mode, unidirectional is allostasis. That's how the normal neuron behaves. If you put the child on the digital screen, his neuron behaves like in ADHD. So my lecture is digital overstimulation simulating ADHD. You understand the word simulating? Producing the same symptoms as ADHD, inattention, hyperactivity, impulsivity. So what will the doctor do? Prescribe methylphenidate, diagnosing ADHD without stopping the screen, which is oxymoron. What must you first do? Get a digital history and work with the child and the parents, stop the screen. Agreed? What we have found in our practice is, now with a mildly affected child, if you stop the screen for about 6 weeks, he becomes completely normal. To a brain that is already dopamine, serotonin disturbed, and what else? Cortisol. Is now in fright, fight, flight, allostasis. Stress systems have been recruited. Anti-reward systems have been recruited. Why? The digital thing is on the edge. Digital game, he's like that. So he's in fight, fright, flight. So they put on weight, they eat junk food, correct? Some fellows get cirrhosis, childhood cirrhosis. Understand the problem. It's widely connected. Appetite is changed, nida ganda baya, sleep disturbed. So he gets perverse appetite. and all this junk food have other stimulants that e-substances, e-preservatives. So it's a very connected problem. Neurochemical transmitters, dopamine and serotonin function outside optimal U curve as it should during homeostasis. In homeostasis, U curves function. In digitalized behavior, they are in stress behavior, thrill-seeking behavior. There is my research instrument. This is original. PFC, executive function, top-down regulation. Heard the word top-down? Top-down regulation. That's what PFC, that is, everyone gets up in the morning, even the housewife. She thinks cooking for the husband is a nice thing to do every morning. And husband thinks every morning to eat what she cooks is a nice thing. You will run to KFC and Burger Bash, you eat what your wife cooks, isn't it? If you are fortunate enough that your wife is cooking. Jokes apart, we wake up in the morning and do the same thing creatively, and that's what our brains are refreshed for. So it is empathic, creative, reflective, reward motive, initiation, navigation, in conclusion, reward. Understood? Top down. Why top down? From the prefrontal cortex, dorsolateral aspect. Every day, every action, hour by hour, you think and do, and you are happy for what you do. That's reward. Okay? You must have heard of this. You have not heard of this in your medical reading. Not MBBS days. After that, stress physiology, pathophysiology. This is stress pathophysiology. In a very simple way, this article has it more detail. So you can take, I will give you a copy. Make up there. You don't read it now. You can take it and read it. And please put your name down and email. Whatever I research, read, think, I keep a large base of professionals to whom I said, not only medical, IT professionals, also I am in contact with. I also learn from them, things I don't know. Now this is how we should function. This is bottom up. All unpleasant memories go to the amygdala. Painful memories are stored in the amygdala. Good or bad? That's how we are designed. We remember bad more than good. At least bad longer than good. Because we want to avoid it. Now the digitalized child, everything for him is a flight, fight. Did you understand that? So where is he operating from? Not top-down new thinking. Screen is telling him next thrill, next danger, next peril. Do you understand that? Where is he going to? Amygdala, hippocampus, hippocampus and hypothalamus. Sorry, these are make a marker on a slide. Impulsive, dyspathy, not empathy. What does empathy do? You think well for yourself and for your parents. This is more up to date. You have it here. This is more up to date. All of this is here. You have already got it. So it is impulsive. It's a survive mode, sudden, not reflective, reflexive, XIVE, reactive, repetitive, spelled wrong. There is E here. Addictive. This is how PTSD behaves. There is an anti-reward system where children think pain is pleasure. This is the addictive pathway. Understood? This is where digitalized behavior takes you. Convinced? Convinced? So my appeal is this, after this lecture, make it part of your home practice. Don't just thrust the smartphone to your child and think it's okay. It's not okay. Very wrong. Very wrong. Redeem your time at home, isn't it? For fatherhood and maternity, redeem your time at home. Just being at home and putting the child on the smartphone and you are by the child, but you are doing nothing. Smartphone is doing everything, isn't it? Now they know when mothers are breastfeeding and looking at the smartphone, milk supply stops. You know that. Or not. Milk supply stops. So redeem your time. You make some decisions of home. Professionally, in some way include this in your practice. It's not so difficult. 1 minute, tell a mother or child or whatever. And to pediatricians, psychiatrists and family physicians, what I have to say is, when a child comes with jittery behavior, inattention and hyperactivity, don't fire methylphenidate. First try empathic learning therapy. Let me tell that bit fast because our time is already finishing. Empathic learning therapy, what we do is, when children come in whatever state of digitalization, it may be ADHD, it may be chemicals that affected them in the mother's womb. Now it is known the PGE2 concentration in the fetal brain determines which sections grow fast or slow. Accordingly, the child may have different learning difficulties, attention difficulties, including ADHD. In my series, 25% were affected in the mother's womb. How do you know? When I ask the history, they say, පටන් ගත්ත දවසේ ඉඳලම සර් මෙයාට නිදා ගන්න බෑ ඇවිල්ලා උස්සගෙන යන්න ඕන කියලා then you understood. So then you understand this child had the problem from first month. Now it is known and recommended, don't give paracetamol in the first 15 months. Did you know that? Don't take paracetamol ad-lib during pregnancy. Every bit of alcohol by mother cooks the fetal brain. So this is known for the last 15 years. Pediatricians knew this. This is not fetal alcohol syndrome. Every bit of alcohol by the pregnant mother affects the child's brain. Then I'm going to make another. Every bit of alcohol by the father affects the mother's brain. That we all know. So now the British Academy of Pediatrics and American Pediatric Association has jointly worded a very politically correct statement. No amount of alcohol by the pregnant mother can be said to be safe for the child. You understood the statement? Of what they should have told is, mother, please don't take alcohol. You know, in the West you can't say this. No? Even in Colombo, I think it's a little difficult to say this, isn't it? So many ladies are drinking alcohol. But truth is that every bit of alcohol will affect the child's brain. Please add this to your practice. The paracetamol thing is very recent. So recommendation now should be, don't take Panadol, paracetamol anytime, every time during pregnancy. Now, we traditionally taught no, it's the safest analgesic. Don't take it just ad-lib, just for the fever spike. Manage as much as possible. And for the child under the age of 15, manage the fever under the age of 15 months. Manage the fever spike as far as possible without paracetamol. Okay? Difficult. So only give it, you charge the fever now. At the height of the spike, ice pack, step-in sponging, all fail, give it. And anyway, fever is not the pathological response. Fever is the physiological response, correct? And the interferon and all the immunity stuff fever creates is helpful for the child. Okay. Panadol, paracetamol and any aspirin, brufen stuff prolongs viremia. That's known fact. So what am I saying now? I am saying GPs don't fire analgesics, antibiotics off the cuff. Put on the barrel. Practice will drop, isn't it? I'm changing culture is different. All I'm saying is, under the age of 15 months and to the pregnant mother, make it known that just consuming paracetamol is not good habit. You can do that. Just say, Onam with Onamanam, Daraganna Berimana. Okay? Yeah, you have to introduce that into your practice. Now all that is there in my references are there in this, so you can read it. Our time is up now. These are different parts of the lecture. Any questions you'd like to ask, you felt you want to clarify from me?
It's reading in
LED or whatever.
Kindle.
Yeah, so if you are an adult, you will remember. You are adding to your digital screen. But Kindle is not pixel intense like smartphone, iPad, tab. So let's say about 2 hours of Kindle will come to about 30 minutes of smartphone screen. You won't remember it. So Kindle study you won't remember, you can't reproduce at exams if you are reading Romeo and Juliet or Salia Subhamala, that's okay. Isn't that mean? But if you are reading for content and memory, application, collation and connection, Kindle will not do. Are you understand my language? Now for exams you must reproduce. For research you must connect. Present knowledge, unknown, collation, research, conceptualization, computer doesn't have. Computer doesn't think, computer is a machine. You think. So when people are getting computerized and digitalized, quality of research drops. So research is you are rehashing what is available on the computer. So you get third grade research funded by pharmaceutical companies for third grade purposes. Tough statement. Tough statement. So we were told coconut oil is bad. And we all followed it. Then we were told NS says aspirin is the worst. We swallowed it. Complete fake. Much of my research has been on aspirin. Then we were told statins are a must if cholesterol is 250 when we were medical students. Now if cholesterol is what? What is the safe cholesterol level? Yeah, who brought it down? Statin producers. Have you ever asked this question? When I was a medical student, safe statin level was 250. Then everybody cut down on fats and things like that. And in the general population, the cholesterol concentration came down. Now, he will give statins even if it's 225, isn't it? Who said that? Pharmaceutical company. And the major Jupiter trial, which was the landmark study to bring statin in, the drug company that funded the research collected the samples. So it had all the right language, multi-center. We don't know how to do a proper research, isn't it? Multi-center, double-blind, what else? Crossover, all that. But drug company that funded the research collected the samples. Porage ammage? Yeah. So I'm speaking to you from long experience with anti-epileptic drugs, Parkinsonism drugs, NSAIDs. That's what I have mostly researched. And of course this statin thing. Anyway, what you asked me was, what was the question? Kindle. So Kindle is no good for memory, collation, connection. Screen is like that. So my advice is, when you browse it, the best articles you want to remember, hard print it, underline it, sideline it, make your notes. So it's now research shows that most top CEOs do their early morning planning handwriting. Think, handwrite, whatever, and they put it into the digital gadget. Maintain that habit.
He writes only the prescriptions now.
You have to get back to handwriting.
I write books also, but everything in for me.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, we use the computer, but keep your handwriting habit.
But only prescriptions.
4 A4 pages.
So that will cover the 4 pages.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yes, so that will cover the point. If prescription covers 4 A4 pages.
Me.
Yeah.
Seriously. But you have to put the other language. You don't write prescriptions in the vernacular.
2 languages we do.
Yeah, 2 languages.
Yeah, now I constantly write when parents come. I write a prescription meaning swimming, matty weather, hot weather, grips and ropes. You have to put that up a center and put that down, the D and D. So here is the empathic motor therapy center. Fit Kids Harvard Study, FIT-KIDS, you can look at it. We conceptualized before the study was out. These are more outdoor activities. Now let's imagine he's a digital NATO, very thrilled on the screen. There's the grips and ropes. Can you see that? Grips and ropes. Fingers gripping, toes gripping, pyramidal track is put to work, glutamate is working, and reversing the dopamine stimulation. Now all of them are not digital natos. There are some digital natos, some normal children. We put them into team time. Last time the teams were Putin. One team was called Putin, one team was called Trump. One team was called, I forget now, you get the idea. So that then again, if you put Paduru, get your children, little fellow to crawl without booties and socks and whatnot. So there are 3 contact points, Dhanaganama, Kapulaganama, Angiliganama. That makes brain brilliant. You can understand what I'm saying. Yeah. So we do arts crafts, kids bakery. These are empathic learning and motor therapy centers. This is a whole Montessori school came. This is a Boral center. Recently Harvard published this, not our thing. They have conceptualized it there. We conceptualized it here. That do grips and ropes, digital addiction will be reversed, children will be kept off the screen. This is 3,600 square foot area in Boral Center.